Hello, 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 and welcome to the Real Tea. I am so happy that you guys decided to join me on tonight. This is When the Truth Speaks. And yes, this is the Real Tea, where we truly educate yes, and even you. I am your girl, Catrice from the Tea, coming to you each and every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with that good game for your brain. And I'm so glad that you decided to join us on tonight. Now, not only do we have the tea, but I also brought that comfort for your soul and for your mind. Tonight, the Real Tea is presenting When the Truth Speaks. A woman's ability to change the temperature of an entire room when she speaks, right here and right now. When the truth speaks has arrived. So you guys get ready, get set. We're coming into your homes, your cars, wherever you are tonight. We have something in store for you. Now I need everybody, and I do mean everybody under the sound of my voice, to do something for me. Grab a pen, grab a paper, open your heart and your mind, because my guest, she truly came to spill the tea. And we're here to soak it all up. Now, remember, caring, it is what? Sharing. Now, if you're viewing the broadcast through the Facebook Real Tea page, please like, share, and follow. Real simple. And if you're viewing it through the Real Tea YouTube channel, please like, share, follow, subscribe. And each time the Real Tea begins to brew more tea, you will receive those notifications that you can join who? Your girl. Yes, Trees for Tea. Today, any day, or Tuesday on the replay. And now for our tea for the week. And yes, I'm talking about the tea you drink. You know, I bring a tea to you guys every week, but this one is backed by popular demand, and that was per me. Now, it is chai tea. I found this tea. I love this tea, and it is really, really beneficial. But in India, it means tea with milk. Now, although the word chai in Western countries usually imply black tea and spices, milk and sugar, the real chai is made pure with no spices. The spice version is called masala chai. Now, this translates into spiced tea, spiced or not. There's no doubt that chai tea is delicious, is soothing, and one of the best milk teas in the world. Experts say that there are many benefits to drinking chai tea. They say that it's an energy boosting, antioxidant properties, chemo protective effect. It aids in digestion, regular cholesterol, anti-inflammatory properties, relieving stomach pain and nausea. It also says that it helps with heart health. Now, I found my information on looseleaf.com, and you can search black tea, chai tea. Chai tea, like I said, it can be found at Walmart. Y'all know Walmart, my favorite store. And it's yet another accessible tea. So you guys, and it's so good. And I have some right here. Y'all know my tea steeps for a little while beforehand. But yes, yes, yes. And now we're going to take a glimpse of our featured business of the week. Now, if you're looking to have your business featured on this show, please, I need you guys to do one thing for me. If you want to put your business on the show, all you have to do is email join treats for tea at gmail.com. That's JOINTRICE, the number 4, TEA at gmail.com. And we will get your business right on for the support. The Real Tea loves the support. So now we'll be right back after these messages from our featured business of the week this week. And that is Cherish Couture, you guys, owned by Toya Hilton. Hey, I love that little commercial. When she sent that commercial, I'm like, I like the music, the whole little vibe. And I actually shopped with her. She's a really, really good businesswoman. So if you're looking for children's clothing, she has some adult clothing too as well. I think maybe before she processed that commercial that she didn't have adult clothes, but I purchased some adult clothing from her, and she's a wonderful business lady. So we want to support, support, support. Yes. And now, the time that we've all waited for. And if you just tuning in, you can catch it any day on the replay. Tuesday, any day. We are definitely here for you any day on the replay. Our guest tonight, she has embracing power to connect with not only the mind, but with the soul as well, displaying her expertise each time she speaks, gaining rapport, and providing a platform for the weary. Her messages can not only be heard, but read and felt. Her artistic vibe brings that feeling of hope for not just one, but for all. Please welcome to the Real Tea platform, Mrs. Tamura Richardson, you guys. Hi, beautiful.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Yes, absolutely beautiful. I'm telling you, I couldn't wait to meet you. I'm so happy that you came and gonna spill that tea for us. I'm telling you, because I can't wait. I watched and I said I must talk to her. She's absolutely awesome. Yes. So
Wonderful.
I did a lot of research. And it's again the nature of the beast. I tell people all the time. I people watch, and so I was watching and researching, and I think it's better that you tell us who you are.
Excellent. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited. Your intro was magnificent. Definitely. So, my name is Tamuri Richardson. I am a professional motivational speaker, domestic violence conqueror, a certified mental health advocate, and an international best-selling author. And it's kind of become my mission to make sure that I support men and women alike who are either struggling with living with mental illness or getting out of or navigating domestic violence situations. I'm the mother of two teenage children, so it's just I'm loving and living life right now. No complaints here.
Absolutely. I'm telling you, and you wear it well. And you definitely wear it. Yes, ma'am, you wear it well. I'm telling you. So now I see that you cover a lot of ground on mental illness. And it's a big subject. It's a big subject, and I know that a lot of people that suffer from mental illness, being that I worked in psych for like 10 years, and so I know that mental illness is definitely real. And I often wondered this, like, what do you think the percentage of people that are walking around here every day with mental illness and don't even know it?
Well, the American Psychiatric Association has said that it's about only 40% of Americans that are actually getting the needed care. So if 40% are getting the needed care, now you have 60% out there that are living with mental illness but might be struggling, might not be aware. So you might think 40% is a lot, but it's not a lot when people are having a hard time navigating mental illness on their regular day to day.
Yeah, and just because I think about sometimes people do things and then someone who's around them all the time say, "I can't believe he shot up all the people," or "I can't believe that he or she did this or that," and all the time they were suffering, with mental illness. And some people think like, it's not real, but I know all too well, just again from working in psych, that mental illness is real.
Very
It
real.
is.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. And you were talking about it in the black community, which is where I worked was a prominently black area. And
Mhm.
I was just so surprised at the amount of people that they would, we would admit, and the majority of them would be black.
Right.
They really would. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's really amazing. So and with you being the advocate. or able to, to touch on the mental illness, it's absolutely great because that's really a subject. It's hard to like navigate through this and talk to people about it. It's a very touchy subject, I believe, because some people don't want to admit that they have, a mental, I think admitting is probably the very first, the first part. So is there like stages to mental illness?
You know, mental illness is like anything else. Everything has a sign, right? And I don't think there's any one particular sign. But what I will say specifically in the Black community, where we're still having an issue of us acknowledging mental illness. I was speaking not that long ago at a virtual event, and I was trying to speak specifically to Black women that it is our responsibility to see things as they are. When I got married to someone, I didn't know that he had mental illness. I don't think he did either. But when you're dating a guy or you're dating a woman and they have erratic mood swings or are not functioning properly in life, that may or may not be mental illness, but it's sure you need to take a look into it because it very well could be. You need to
Oh
look at
yeah.
the family dynamics. It very well could be. So there are symptoms and things you can look for with bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, anxiety, PTSD. There are things if you do the research, but nothing is ever one trick pony. There could always be something else that leads to something else. It's just being alert and aware. And if
Hmm.
something looks like it's off, then it's off.
The thoughts out of my head. You took the thought. It's really, a lot of people will overlook things that they see, and you've had the signs all the time,
Yes,
and then once something happens, then you've ignored the signs, and it's way too late. It's a big fiasco.
right.
So I saw today, just today, I saw where a young man who I couldn't imagine what happened, but this has to be a mental illness for you to kill your girlfriend in front of your parents.
Oh, yeah,
That's severe
absolutely.
mental illness and it's scary.
Absolutely. Untreated,
Yes.
unmanaged, and
Hmm.
probably undiagnosed. So if you already have an imbalance in your brain and you are going upon your day to day and things are coming up and you don't know how to manage how do you manage stress? How do you manage relational problems? How do you manage job problems? You don't. So things going untreated is the worst. And that could very well be a situation, either undiagnosed or just untreated, not taking medication or not getting psychiatric care.
Yes, yes, I truly agree with that. I know, all too well that the medication, a lot of people don't either want to take it, or something to that effect. And I know what not taking it, especially with things like you say, schizophrenia, things of that nature, those things need to be very well medicated,
Yes,
and things of that nature. My heart goes out, but I think that like I don't know how true this is. This is just my personal thought. Like people who may go through something traumatic and it affects them mentally, you
yeah,
know, and they
absolutely.
may be temporarily,
Right.
affected by something like that, depression. That's a form of mental illness, isn't it correct?
Absolutely. And listen, you can live an absolutely regular life. And then all of a sudden at 40 or 45, something triggers you, and then your brain shifts, and you are now no longer functioning the way you were. Oftentimes, trauma from childhood,
Hmm.
oftentimes can show itself early, but it oftentimes shows itself later on in life when people don't even think, or they think I've dealt with this abandonment. I've dealt with mom and daddy issues. I've dealt with abuse and I've moved past it. And then something happens, and now all of a sudden, all hell is broken loose because you
Hmm.
haven't dealt with it. And because you didn't, something triggered you. Now we dealing with it with you.
Right, right. Now you pull somebody else into it. Now it's a
Right,
mess.
right.
Somebody that was not mentally ill. I totally get it. Um, yeah, so also I noticed that you are like a jack of all trades, you know what I mean? And I said, I don't want my questions to be like all over the place, but this lady is just like, hey, I
Right.
know this too. You know what I mean? And that is, you are just like a ball of information and a ball of knowledge, which is great. I'm so happy just to know you, just to be able to talk to you because I had those questions. Now, you also do public speaking.
Correct.
And
Yes.
how did you become a public speaker? How did you know that public speaking was what you wanted to do?
I have always had a big mouth. Let me be extremely clear. And there is absolutely no way that I could not have probably ran into this career. But working in corporate America, I was always the one doing the presentations and, being very comfortable being in front of, presenting, very comfortable and confident with myself. And then I
Mm-hmm.
like to think also my religious background also helped to contribute it to being, very comfortable and my mother being very astute about grammar and articulation and those things. It
Okay.
just came down to what you're going to talk about. Do you have a
Right.
skill? Do you have the knowledge? And so that's where I kind of really put some extra time. Topics kind of came to me, unbeknownst to me, and I
Mm-hmm.
was always very comfortable speaking in front of. So I kind of honed in on skills and kind of I like to think perfect my craft. So when I communicate with you, you feel that it's authentic and genuine. So I worked on all those things.
Oh, wow. So you didn't like go to school or anything like that. It's just kind of something you picked up and you just went with it.
Well, you know what I started to do? I joined Toastmasters. I was already a speaker, but what Toastmasters helped me to do is kind of fine tune it. So make it professional. I was already speaking, I already had a big mouth, speak anywhere, say anything all time, whatever, loud as it could be. But I
Right.
needed to now take that, craft it, and make it so that I can professionally do it, so that in any audience they would be able to connect and reach me. And so I joined different contests at Toastmasters, won first place in every contest that I won. That I
Mm.
was in, and then just continue honing in and working and speaking professionally, telling my story. And here I am.
Yeah, Toast. I was going to ask you about Toastmasters, but honey, yes, that Toastmasters just took me over the edge. What was that like? I mean, was that? I know that had to be like a lot, but for someone such as yourself, it seemed like you just went in and just mastered being, Toastmasters.
I enjoyed it. I'm still in Toastmasters. I love my club. I'm still in
Okay.
it because I love my club. I was actually talking to a friend and she was like, "Why are you still in Toastmasters?" I'm like, "I love my group, my club, and as much as I can help encourage other people to come in and really benefit from it, but
Hmm.
it's a wonderful way to learn the art of communication." Now, Toastmasters doesn't teach you how to speak. That's not the purpose. But the purpose is to help you have different ways of communicating, how to disseminate that information out, and then different, platforms. Virtual speaking is different from in-person speaking. So how do you navigate that? So I love it. I love it. I recommend it to everyone.
Yes, yes, yes. That's absolutely awesome. Just more accomplishments and more accomplishments. That is really great. Um, I don't know if I could be a public speaker, but I talk all the time. I'm a talk show.
You
Talk
are a
all
public
the time.
speaker already.
Okay, okay. I might have to
Right.
look into that Toastmasters for myself.
That's right. That's
Yes,
right.
absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. But I say you are like a jack of all trades, and that's awesome. Um, if someone wanted to be a public speaker, like what would be your advice to them? What would you tell them?
Well, always, because I do public speaking and communications coaching, is never want to be like anyone else. Like you'll never be, I always tell people, because I'm always told in my club or something, oh, I want to speak like Tamori. Don't speak like me. I'm very unique to me. Speak like you, because how
Yes.
you communicate is how you're going to pull people in. I wrote a book, my first book, 10 Steps to Becoming a Highly Effective Public Speaker,
Hmm.
and I put in there 10 tips because I wanted people to know the actual tips that I utilize to be professional and to speak, and that I've been actually very successful in doing. So
Hmm.
be yourself. You don't have to be like anyone else. Make sure your message matters to you, because if it don't matter to you, I'm not going to care nothing about it. Make
Hmm.
sure you know what you're talking about so that I don't fall asleep in the middle of it. And then have the confidence, breathe, and let her rip.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. Honey, you sound like a coach. You sound like a coach, but you're absolutely correct in the uniqueness. There's a lot of anything that you do. There's variety in it. It's like restaurants
Yes,
or anything that you do. So you definitely don't want to go here and eat tacos over here, and then you're gonna go over here and the same tacos is over here. It's just no variety, or anything like that. I know
yes,
that even myself, I did not when I stepped out into the industry, I wanted to be my own self and give it to you like it came to
that's
me
right.
or like I am. So you are so very true. You're right. I meant to say about being unique.
Yes,
Because everybody's unique. No two people look the same. Even twins
yes,
have something different about them that you could be like, okay, that's how you're able to tell, the one
that's
twin from the
right.
other. So, yes, ma'am, absolutely. So, now you talked about your book,
Mhm.
and I saw, some of the books, and I mean, well, especially the one you were just talking about. But the one book in particular that I wanted to talk about was the one about trusting somebody else's heart. Can you tell me what's the inspiration to that book?
Yes. So I had married someone
Mm-hmm.
and did not know that he was a drug addict, didn't know what it looked like, so hadn't a clue that he was a meth addict. We
Mm.
found out 4 months after that he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and schizophrenia. So when I tell you that if there was ever a roller coaster you could be on, I was on it.
Okay.
It had a lot of different polarities to it. And when I say trusting someone's heart, that's really what relationships are. I'm trusting that you are who you say you are, right? You're
Yes.
trusting that I'm giving you the real deal about me. And
Mm-hmm.
so that might have been for him that I wasn't authentic. It could be, I don't know his experience, but I know
Right.
my experience marrying someone who was supposed to not be a drug addict and that he loved drugs more than he loved his mom and his daddy.
Wow.
And then to find out later that he has mental illness that's also not being diagnosed or managed. And so now you've brought evidence and signs and behaviors of trauma into my life where I had none of those things and my children were not aware of any of those things.
Right.
I wrote the book because I wanted women and men, because when I speak and do keynote addresses about domestic violence, there's men in the audience too. Men are
Mm-hmm.
victims of it. They don't speak out about it as much as women do. I wanted women to use me as a cautionary tale that it's
Mm-hmm.
not just enough for him to give you a good rap and then you believe it. Go check out his mama, check out his sister,
Oh
look at
yeah.
his daddy. These are all of the people that's going to be inside of him living. And if
Mm-hmm.
you don't like one or two of them, then you better let them go because one or two of them going to come out in that relationship. So I wanted to make sure that people understood this is what it looked like. It got
Yeah.
extremely horrible. And this is how I
Mm.
navigated myself out of it. So there is triumph after tragedy, believe it.
Oh
Absolutely.
yeah. Oh yeah. I know this all too well. I
Yes.
know this all too well, which is which is another reason why I really, wanted to talk to you is because I too went through the same thing. I
Mhm.
married a man and I had no idea that he was on drugs, had a
Mm.
mental illness. I really you talked about narcissism
Yes.
or narcissist behavior, which is what I was dealing with, which led to verbal abuse, which
Yes.
led to, it just led from one thing, just led to the other. And
Absolutely.
yeah, a total recipe for disaster,
Hmm.
basically. And so I totally can touch and agree with you
Great.
in what you were talking about, trusting someone else's heart, you
Great.
know,
Yeah.
fashioning behind their heart and things of that nature, and all the time they're on
Right.
drugs. And
Yeah.
you can compete. You figure you can compete with another woman, or
Yeah.
you can compete with, something like that. But a drug addiction, a chemical, can't compete with it.
No, you are the mistress. And this is what I had to realize. I was the mistress to his meth addiction. Like
Mm,
I wasn't in first place. I wasn't in second place. I wasn't in third place. So I'm like, whatever woman come along, girl, you're not even on 5 of the Richter scale because you don't even know this drug addiction is ferocious, let me tell you. And
oh
now we're
yeah.
going to throw in some bipolar and some schizophrenia. Okay, how about that? Yeah.
Yes, yes. And I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
think that men, what was amazing to me in it all is that they don't think that you, if it's just like a person that doesn't smoke cigarettes. I don't smoke cigarettes. But if you smoke cigarettes, I don't care what you spray on yourself, I can smell the smoke.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same with the
Yeah.
drugs. It'll be
Right.
foreign at first, but after a while, you're like, you know what? There's
Right.
something other going on here.
Yeah. Well,
This is not
they
normal.
can't. I think he hit, and to be really clear, um, I think he hit it because I think his intentions was to break it. Like, I don't really think he intended to come in and be a drug addict. I think he thought if I came around somebody who don't do nothing, that that's going to rub off on me.
Mm-hmm.
But not dealing with, number one, you got to deal with, he came from ferocious abuse,
Mm-hmm.
abandonment from mother and father, just a lot of disarray. He beat women. He had so much to contend with that he probably, I know that the drug was the longest and most dearest relationship that he had. So I
Wow.
never could be first in correlation. And I understood that it was all the other elements. Once I understood that, because I didn't get the education about any of this until I got out of the relationship, because I had to now understand what tsunami just came through. It hit me and
Mm-hmm.
just wrecked through my life. And now I'm having to navigate that, you know.
Wow.
But as much as I can put all the blame on him, and of course, I don't care what the situation is, you're responsible for yourself. I
Yes.
still put the onus on me not vetting him properly. I didn't vet him properly. I didn't stick to my boundaries. And it doesn't put it on me, but it makes you more responsible for how you're going in and out of these relationships as well. So I had to put that
Oh
on
yeah.
me.
Oh
Hmm.
yeah. You definitely your change the logistics altogether on
Yes.
when you meet someone, what it is you're looking for.
That's right. That's right.
I think at one point in my own life, I really thought, you know what? He don't got the car. Well, I'm gonna come with the car. We're gonna make it. I'm gonna build him up. You can dress him up. You can do whatever you want to him. If they're struggling with something like drugs, you
Mhm.
might as well figure out which way you're going. And I do know that. And I know that
Wasting
all
your
too
time.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. You're absolutely correct. I
Absolutely.
think the book though, trusting someone's heart, that is that I gotta read this book. I have done. I told the last person that I interviewed, and this is the truth. I have done more reading since I started in the industry than ever, and
Yeah.
it's amazing because you get to learn so many things about different experiences, and then also to know that you're not alone in
Hmm.
this in this. You're definitely not alone
Yeah.
um, at all.
And
Now
that's
I thought.
important.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying that's important. Part of the sometimes people stay in really bad situations because the feeling that you're on an island. And when you
Hmm.
start to listen in on other people, you realize, oh, okay, well, this was Tuesday for you too. So that you don't feel so alone. Let me navigate this, right?
Yes, yes. Now, I saw that you were a part of the NAMI.
Hmm.
Uh, yes.
Yes,
Tell me
Nami.
what that's like. How did this come about? This part here that you ended up into this organization.
Everything kind of sprang from that. So once what helped me, let me just kind of move back a little bit. What helped me kind of move myself out of the situation was that my ex-husband, now ex-husband, went into a mental health facility and started having sex with one of the mental health case managers. Right. And she happened to be HIV. So, navigate that.
Mm,
But for me, I have strong policies. I don't come in behind women. So at that, there was no conversation. Like, there could never be a conversation. I haven't spoke to him since then. But
okay.
I had to get me straight. So like now, she can have him. I put a bow on it and hand him on over to her. I
Right.
gotta now get me straight and figure out what happened, why this happened, and navigate this. So I went to therapy. But I needed to understand about drug addiction. I needed to understand about bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, because when you get out of situations like that, it just doesn't close up shop. When you have someone who's domestic, an abuser who's very comfortable with demeaning you, disrespecting you,
Mm-hmm.
denigrating you at the drop of a dime. I've been cussed out in a restaurant in front of people, like no respect, no regard, and giving the excuse of, well, he's got mental illness, that wears thin. I needed to get education because I was so very upset at myself. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, how could someone who doesn't do drugs, seemingly at the time, I use the terminology normal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Walk into a relationship like this. So NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, was extremely helpful for me getting the education. I met people that were like, I'm dealing with the same thing. My husband just did this. My wife just did this. So that island that we were talking about, I didn't feel like this was only happening to me, or I was the worst wife in the world or the
Mm-hmm.
worst human. This dude had pieces that was broken before I even knew he was existed, that nothing I could do could ever glue, put together, do anything with that. I had to understand that. NAMI helped me to understand that this isn't your journey. Focus on you, get you straight. I got educated. Now I want to make sure that everyone knows exactly what I know and how I
Mm-hmm.
know it. Education is the key to that, and NAMI has been that conduit to get me there. And I love them immensely, NAMI San Francisco. Yeah.
All right. Was there a process that you had to go through?
Well,
Go ahead.
I now speak and present for them. So they have peer-to-peer groups. This is all free. This is all voluntarily. But initially, I went to the peer-to-peer group, and their support groups to get the information. I needed to hear stories like mine, so I knew that I didn't need to be somewhere in a bubble. And so any local NAMI, and NAMI I think has about 54 to 58 affiliates. I apologize for not having that exact number, all
That's okay.
around the United States. So they're anywhere, all where. I've even sent that information to relatives who might be going through something. Listen, there's a NAMI locally. Let me introduce you. But they have classes that help educate you, even how to love someone who's navigating, even if you're not. Now, I now live with anxiety and PTSD because of him and that
Mm.
situation. But my anxiety is my superpower. I tell people that all the time because they tell me when I didn't had enough. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
put a period on it.
Right.
I
Right.
utilize those superpowers and I've turned them to benefit me. But NAMI is a great organization to get the information, get the education, and get the support that you need.
Yes, yes, and this is needed. This is needed. You are not the only person. You're absolutely correct, and neither am I. Someone else has experienced this, and they need that help and that support. I want to up on my page. I want to put it up in black and white. And you guys, who's ever viewing, if you're going through this, went through it. If you're dating someone that's on drugs, you've been through this whole this thing to the point to where you're having anxiety, you're having these thoughts of being alone and things of that nature. There is organizations and people and places that you can go, and that's
Hmm.
the word that definitely I'm happy that you were able to get out to the people. Wow, that
Absolutely.
is amazing. Well, I can't hold you all night. I cannot. I would love to. You
This has been awesome.
Yeah, I saw that you do like appointments and things of that nature. What types of services do you offer so you can tell the viewers how to reach you and the type of services that you offer?
Absolutely. So I am by trade a professional communication specialist. So I do communications consulting. So I'm an influential storyteller. So
Mhm.
I have authors that are under my tutelage right now, speakers that I help them formulate their story, because the influential storytelling is about how you disseminate it and making sure that you hone in on what's important and bring it out to the audience and draw them in. So I love influential storytelling. I do influential storytelling, and as well as just public speaking, coaching, in that nature as well, and helping individuals write and get their books situated so that they can write a book as well.
Mhm.
And the first and third Fridays of the month, I am a support with NAMI has a Black Minds Matter support group. So every first and third Friday, I am the chair of that, as well as the Black Mental Health Committee. And it's a support group. We listen, we talk, we have resources, we suggest, in one of my groups, we're going for a walk. So we're doing things to try to uplift each other so you don't feel alone and that you don't feel you have to navigate this stuff on your own. So
Mm-hmm.
I love what I do, and I'm very blessed to have people that work with me and have worked with me to do it. So,
All right. And tell us your website. So if someone wants to make an appointment with you for a consultation and things of that nature, can you tell them your website and where they can find you?
yes, my website is www.tleannespeaks. That's TLEANNE speaks.com. And you can also find me on Facebook under T. Leanne Speaking Pros LLC, or you can always just type in Tamuri Richardson. A bunch of stuff should come up. You'll
Yeah,
get to
she's
me.
everywhere. She's all over the
Right.
place. You can definitely find her.
That's right. I'm
I,
there.
yeah, you're definitely searchable. So the help is there. The help is there. So if you guys need the help, please reach out to her. She can help. She can help. She's helped me. She just don't even know it. Honest to goodness. So thank you.
You are welcome. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much for joining us here at the Real Tea. I definitely appreciate your coming. I was honored to talk to you, and I would look forward to talking to you in the future. I definitely will reach out to you, and I thank you again so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Yes, ma'am. We're going to go ahead and do our final sip of tea. You guys, this was Tamori Richardson, and you heard all of the things that she do and does and can help you with, and definitely reach out to her for that help. I'm beg of you, whoever it is, because I know what this is like and how miserable of a place and a dark of a place this can be. And so we want to embrace you and provide that information from Miss Richardson. And now for our final sip of tea. The Bible says that the truth will set you free. And we are all overcome by our testimonies. The test is what will be done and how. They say experience, it is the best teacher. Well, our guest tonight, she proved that experience can result in you becoming of a teacher. The enriched source of trial and error that then grabs the attention of those that are eager for help. You know, the mind is a terrible thing to waste, and the condition of the mind will show and eventually tell. You know, you are able to embrace those around you, for we may never know what someone is going through or how they ended up on the ground. This is a word from the wise. Never look down on someone unless you're picking them up. God bless you. And thank you so very much for joining me, your girl Contrice with the T. God bless and take care.